Places you can still visit during COVID-19. The thought of planning a vacation in the middle of a global pandemic may seem a little strange right now, but after the first half of 2020, many of us might need a holiday. While you might assume the whole world is shut for travel, you'd probably be surprised at how many cities and countries have reopened their borders for travel and tourism. So which places can you still visit during the COVID-19 pandemic? Hey guys, welcome to our channel, We're Cool Random Weird. Jump on that subscribe button if you like what you see so far, and hit that notification bell to keep up to date with the crazy content we'll be uploading every week. In today's video, we'll get you up to date with the latest info on travel destinations that are still taking in tourists during the coronavirus pandemic. So dust off those passports, we're going on vacation. Europe. Parts of Europe and the EU are open for international travel, but it depends heavily on where you're traveling from. The European Union have allowed non-essential travel for European citizens as well as travelers from a list of 14 approved countries as of the 2nd of August 2020. These countries include Algeria, Australia, Canada, Georgia, Japan, Morocco, New Zealand, Rwanda, South Korea, Thailand, Tunisia, and Uruguay. If you're not from the approved list, you'll only be granted entry if you meet the exemption guidelines, such as having a European family member or being an essential healthcare worker or a foreign diplomat with special clearances. We'll put the full exemptions link in the description below. If you still don't meet the criteria, Ireland, the UK, Ukraine, Slovenia, Serbia, Belarus, Kosovo, and North Macedonia are countries that are still allowing unrestricted travel. Asia. As the coronavirus emerged from China, heavy travel restrictions exist in Asia, limiting travel mostly to citizens and their families. Some countries like India, Thailand, Myanmar, and Indonesia have closed their borders completely. However, there are two places accepting visitors with conditions. The Maldives, off the coast of India, have restarted issuing visas on arrival, and tourists are allowed in, subject to a 14-day quarantine period. This is also the case in Pakistan, where international flights have begun, with health declarations, COVID-19 testing, and quarantine required for entry. North America. North America is a mixed bag when it comes to travel restrictions. Some places remain open since the pandemic began, while others have heavy restrictions on incoming visitors. Mexico has remained open to international travel since the beginning of the pandemic. However, the land border between the US and Mexico is closed to non-essential traffic until at least August the 20th. The United States have a long list of travel restrictions for foreign nationals who are from or who have traveled through Brazil, China, Iran, the Schengen area, Ireland, or the United Kingdom in the past 14 days. But limited travel is still allowed. While Canada remains completely closed to visitors, Greenland is open to tourism, requiring all travelers to complete a form and provide a COVID-19 test prior to traveling. Central America. Central America has recently been hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic and remains mostly shut to visitors. The exception is Nicaragua, nestled between Honduras and Costa Rica. Visitors are required to undergo screening and present a negative for COVID-19 certificate. Any symptoms or a positive result will require quarantine. South America. South America still has some destinations which have decided to open their doors to foreigners and travelers. Despite being the second hardest hit nation, Brazil is 100% open for tourism. The only requirement for entry is proof of medical insurance. Ecuador has also restarted flights into the country, with tourists required to present the results of a COVID-19 CPR test taken no less than 96 hours before their flight departs. Even with this proof, visitors must then quarantine for 14 days at their own expense. The Caribbean. Luckily, the Caribbean region hosts some destinations that are not only perfect holiday spots, but now open for flights, holidays, and travels. Antigua, Barbuda, Barbados, the Dominican Republic, Guadeloupe, Haiti, Jamaica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the U.S. Virgin Islands are now accepting flights with varied testing and screening requirements upon entry. The Middle East. If a trip to the Middle East is on the cards, you have limited choices when it comes to destinations. You can travel to Lebanon, Palestine, Afghanistan, and Iraq. While technically the United Arab Emirates is closed for foreign travel, there is a separate set of rules for non-residents who want to work, travel, or live in Dubai. Applications must be made prior with the UAE Federal Authority for Identity and Citizenship, along with a negative COVID-19 CPR test result taken within 96 hours of departure. Africa. In Africa, popular tourist destination Egypt has just resumed commercial flights, requiring new travelers to undergo a 14-day self-isolation. Likewise, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Gabon, Kenya, Liberia, Reunion, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, and Zambia are all issuing visas after screening and testing upon arrival. Tunisia will accept tourists, however it depends on the severity of the pandemic in your home country. South Pacific. Areas in the South Pacific luckily weren't impacted heavily by the coronavirus. However, tight restrictions across the region remain in place. New Zealand and Australia can freely travel between countries, but international visitors are not being accepted. French Polynesia has opened its borders to countries in the EEA and the UK, while Guam and the Solomon Islands are accepting all travelers, provided they undergo a 14-day isolation. You can also travel to Tonga or Palau, provided you haven't visited or traveled through China, Hong Kong, or Macau in the past 14 days. And that wraps it up for places you can still visit during COVID-19. If you enjoyed this video, why not give us a like and hit that subscribe and notification button while you're down there. Let us know in the comments which holiday spot you're waiting to visit when travel restrictions are finally lifted. You've been watching Cool Random Weird, and we'll see you next time.